Hey guys, here's another 2005 Impala 9C1 maintenance and improvement video. I've been driving the car for 2 weeks to work and on errands. It's running pretty well, and the battery that I actually took from the donor car before I went and bought a new one is working well. The battery that was in there before, just too old, too many complete drains. It wasn't keeping a charge. So the car's running pretty well. However, we're getting an oil leak, and the oil leak is only getting worse as I've been driving it more. Now, I had this oil leak before we fixed the car, but I think it's more pronounced now. But I think the car is running well now that it has the new wire harness, but this is the stuff we're going to do as some updates. The motor only has 70,000 miles, but there's several things that I want to do so I can drive this car for a while. When the car heats up the whole way, there's a slight tinge of a coolant smell. And when I took the coolant reservoir out, it had a little bit of oil in it, and it seemed like there was some oil contamination happening. It was cloudy. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take the intake manifold off and replace the gaskets for the upper and lower. I have a set of lower intake manifold gaskets and a new set for the upper, and that comes with throttle body gaskets. So I'm going to clean the throttle body while I'm in there, and I'll show you that. I haven't seen any contamination and any fuel pressure problems. However, it looks like it's the original fuel filter. So I got a new inline fuel filter, and I'll show you how to put that on. I got a coolant flush kit, a new thermostat, and I got flush cleaner to run through the engine once I have it back together. In addition to that, these are heater hose elbows. It's plastic OEM. So these aluminum fittings it's for the coolant bypass, and we have to take those out because those pass through the intake manifold. So we're going to switch to those as well. In addition to that, I have new oil, a new oil filter, a new oil pressure sensor. I have a new oil pan gasket, but I don't think that it's leaking, so I might just keep that to the side for now. Additionally, I do have valve cover gasket set, but I don't think that that's leaking either. But I'll know once I'm taking it apart what the state of that is. Additionally, I have new spark plugs and new wires. All this tune-up stuff should really help get stuff in a good place. As we get ready to get into this here, just trying to figure out the best way for you to see what I'm doing. And I wasn't really happy with the stationary camera. I might still use that too. But I got you on my left shoulder here to watch what we're doing as we do it. And I think that's the most beneficial if you haven't worked on this engine at all, or an engine period before. So let's see how that turns out. As we get started here, I disconnect the battery, and now we're going to drain the coolant and oil from this car. coolant drain plug for the radiator is at the bottom of the radiator on this side. There's a small plug to turn there. Let's see what the fluid looks like in the radiator. It'll help us determine if there is a new leak, because we did just put new fluid in here after I put it all back together for the wire harness. Alright, I cleaned out the bucket so we can get the best sample of the coolant that comes out of the radiator possible. To make sure we can see what we're doing and make it easier to drain the coolant from the driver's side, I'm going to drop down this plastic guard and just put it out of the way. Now, we can get our catch bucket under the radiator and drain it. Radiator drain is right here. While the coolant's draining, let's get the air box out of here. It's a lot less fuss if you just take the strut off. Normally, I'd say leave this elbow, but because we're doing the air intake and the throttle body's going to come off, let's get this out of the way. This is the coolant drain plug. This is what you need to loosen to let the coolant out. Let's see what the coolant looks like. It's pretty clean. Like I said, ran this for about a week. It is a little milky though. Let's see what the let's get to the gaskets and see what that's like. Now this is, we can see here the coolant's pretty clear. Okay, oil pan plug is out. We're draining the oil. One thing I was concerned about was if the oil pan bolt plug was stripped or the wrong one. So I got a new one. Rubber gasket's pretty compressed. So I think it's gonna be a good idea to put this new guy on the pan.
And it has a magnetic tip to collect any bits of metal that may be floating around in the engine oil.
Okay. Okay, so oil is drained and all the coolant from the radiator is drained. I don't really see any anomalies. Definitely needed an oil change, but the oil is blackened, but no contaminants.